Hey, what's up, everyone watching the video? If you're checking this out, this is before I start recording for the podcast. So if you're checking this out, thank you. Drop a comment below that you came from watching the video. Hey, what's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Auto Detailing Podcast. I'm Jimbo, your host, and today what we're going to be talking about is how important is it to have a social media presence for your detailing business. And I know a lot of times, especially the older school guys, and it's really not as prevalent as it used to be with people not having an online presence. But I know, because I actually run a detailing business, that it just seems like another thing that you have to do, another task that you have to worry about, this like online thing. And the thought is like, man, I just want to detail cars. I don't want to have to do all this extra stuff. I just want to detail cars. And to that, I would say maybe you should just go work at a detail shop, not be a small business owner, because part of being a small business owner is you have to do all this extracurricular activity to keep that steady flow of cars coming into your shop. So in this podcast episode, I'm really going to argue that having a social media presence for your detailing business is vital and is important. And especially coming off the podcast with Oscar from last week or a couple days ago, depending on when you're listening to this, could be months ago, I guess, or maybe you haven't heard that podcast and you should definitely go check it out. He talked a lot about SEO and how SEO changed his business. And in this podcast episode, I will also argue that having a social media following and a social media presence is going to help you with your SEO and how they kind of go hand in hand. And then also my overarching theme for this podcast and things that I talk about all the time of becoming the go-to detailer. You really become in a world of extreme competition, just about everywhere, you become the only logical source to do that. And then I will also argue that or make a case for that having a social media presence and kind of showcasing some things as potential new customers look at those things, they feel more comfortable with you or your shop. And so they come to you already knowing a lot of information depending upon what you put out there. And that makes them more comfortable, makes you more of a trusted detailer, which again separates you from the competition. So I will make a case for having an online presence is vital and very important. Which, by the way, if you want tips and tricks and prompts, and actually I have 52 weeks of ideas. So if you're, a big hang up for people is like, well, what am I going to post about today? Or what am I going to post about this week? Or what am I going to post about? I have all these pictures. Sure, that sounds good. I could do posts, I could do videos, whatever. But like, what do I put in the caption or what hashtags do I use? There's all these roadblocks that come in the way. And so inside the detailing Discord, which you could have access to completely for free, if you just go to autodetailingpodcast.com/Discord, I actually have a couple different PDF documents that are completely free and you get access to everything right away. And I have it broken down in a couple different documents that I'm constantly adding to this as well and kind of revising it, where you have, not only do I have 52 different post ideas that you can swipe the caption and the hashtags, and I even have an image suggestion. So like use an image like this, which matches the hashtag, which matches the caption. And then you could cycle those through. That would give you 52 different posts. But then in additional to that, I have it broken down. I have a separate document broken down into months, and then those months broken down into weeks, and a different theme for each of the weeks. So if you want access to all that stuff, you can check it out for free. autodetailingpodcast.com/Discord will get you there. And thanks for checking that out. So yeah, so when we talk about, is a social media presence imperative, I guess, or is it important? Of course, I would argue it is. And there's a reason why. We're talking about a modern customer nowadays. We're not talking about the 1980s. We're not talking about the 1990s. We're not even talking about the early 2000s. We're talking about the modern customer. And so when we look at the trends and we look at the behaviors and habits of the modern customer, I think one thing we do is we look at our own traits and our own habits and our own things when we're looking for either a new restaurant or a new service or, how we're looking at things to do, And so how we personally use social media for things outside our detailing business, I think it's important to look at those habits and kind of analyze those habits and behaviors and then apply those habits and behaviors to our detailing business. So let me give you an example. I need rain gutters on my house, right? It actually rains in Southern California. You'd be surprised. I need rain gutters on my house. The first thing I do is I ask people around me, hey, do you know a rain gutter guy, right? Some people say yes, some people say no. So I get a couple referrals from local people. Great, right? The first thing I do, even though that is a referral, the very first thing I do is look up that person's social media. I don't know why. I think it just adds validity. And what I'm noticing with my own habits is that it adds validity to that person. I could look up their reviews. I could look up their pictures to see, really when it came to rain gutters, we wanted kind of more of a specific style, not something so traditional. And so I wanted to make sure that this person even did that. And then I start to equate like, okay, based on their socials and how relevant they are, I think that they can accomplish the style, in the case of the rain gutters here, I think that they can accomplish the style that we're looking for, right? Because then, and this goes into my own kind of thinking with, how I, not my thinking, but like my own behaviors and habits is, I think, okay, if someone's up on social media, then they'll probably they'll be up on this style, right? And so the same is true with car detailing, with anything else. It's like, if you have a presence and you're relevant, people think that you'll be on the cutting edge of other stuff, right? So in the case of detailing, if you're putting out social media posts or showing, you have all these additional benefits that we'll talk about later, SEO, ranking, all that. But also you give the sense to your customer that, hey, I'm on the cutting edge of this stuff. I actually pay attention. And it gives that illusion, even if it is just merely an illusion. So I don't know what percentage of consumers like check online reviews and social media before deciding on a service, but I would think that it's a high 90 percentile, at least with online reviews. So, but I think reviews and then a social media, not even a following. I don't even think it matters how many followers you have at all, which I think is an offshoot, a benefit of doing this is that you could grow your social media following, which will in turn probably could potentially add another revenue stream, which would be great for you as well. But definitely online reviews help too. So I kind of group online reviews into that, like having a social media following. So yeah, there's that too. And then you give the opportunity by having this social media following for customers, or it would probably be customers, not potential customers, but potential customers would see it, but current customers would do it, is give you like real life testimonials, right? So having a social media page, let's say an Instagram, for example, if someone comes in to get their car detailed by you, they can post and tag about you, which would be phenomenal, right? And so then it just perpetuates the cycle that you're curating with new customers, having that customer flow. You're posting on social media. People are tagging you. Maybe you're tagging people, and maybe that's a whole nother side thing, is that you're tagging people and this person has a car and they're trying to get followers. And because you've been posting on social media, that you've amassed a little bit of a following. And so that person hires your detailing service because you have 1,000 followers and they're trying to grow their car page. So they get their car detailed by you. And then because they want the tag, right? People want a social climb too. So there's all these offshoots to having a social media following that I think are actually important too and could benefit your detailing business. So obviously the visibility and brand recognition, it's important to have this online portfolio, I guess you can call it. Way back in the day, I know guys used to carry around binders. I think when I talked to Claude and Darren Priest back in the day, they would carry these binders around. It seems so archaic now, but it was really the style back then. They would carry these binders around, or if we want to talk a little bit more present day, we could talk about, having a gallery on your website. That does kind of go into social media a little bit, but having a gallery, and what you're doing is you're showcasing your work. Hey, this is what I could do with this car. This could be your car, and then we could do that, right? So you're showcasing your work, before and after photos, techniques, client testimonials, all this stuff that went from like having a physical binder to a website, which is imperative. You have to have a website, but now that is transitioning into your social media following. So your social media following is just kind of like a micro piece of your website. So because it could be the top of the funnel, because people are tagging you or randomly finding you through hashtags because you signed up to the detailing Discord, and so you started using those hashtags. But it could be a top of the funnel thing. It could be a whole different thing. So your portfolio is just your online presence, and I've talked about this a lot. Just use before and after pictures. Do a picture carousel. You can if you're only good at pictures and you don't like videos, turn those pictures into a video. And so, yeah. And then a second thing is that it gives you a chance to engage with potential customers. So you can ask questions. You can gather feedback. You can, do polls and push people to your website, and you could do a whole host of different things based off your social media following. So, and some people, like I interviewed Jessica Tran, great detailer, in my local community as well, mobile detailer. She built her whole shop off of her social media following, just showcasing what she does. This is the car I detailed today. This is how we did it. This is the steps I did. And obviously a huge portion of this is having a personality, which she has a great personality that really worked for TikTok for her. But that was the basis of her starting a shop, because what did it do? It created awareness for her in her detailing business and her detailing skill set, and the demand became overwhelming. And then she curated that demand into a shop because she could handle a lot more of the demand having a shop than she could mobile. I think she still does mobile, but that is just an example of what this could lead into if you want it to go down that route. Those are all the benefits to having a social media following, right? And then you could be thinking, okay, great, but there's Threads now, there's Twitter or X, there's Instagram, there's Facebook, there's YouTube, there's TikTok, there's 7 different platforms that you can post on. And again, it could seem overwhelming for people, but what I would argue is try them all, because they all have specific things about them and specific ways that content works better on certain ones than others. Me personally, unfortunately, I do a lot of reposting, I think, which is fine, but I don't think it's as effective as being native to that platform, because what works on Facebook doesn't necessarily work on Instagram, and what works on Instagram doesn't necessarily work on TikTok or Twitter or YouTube or whatever. So I think you just have to, or a podcast. How about starting a podcast, right? So luckily we've had no detailing podcast start in the past few years. So I'm still on an island on my own. Yeah, right. There's 50 podcasts now about detailing, but decide what platform is best for you. For me personally, when I started into the world of online marketing, podcasting was the avenue I chose because it was simple for me. I understood it, and I also was good at it. I enjoy talking, which is clearly evident with what I'm doing today. And over, almost 800 podcast episodes later, I have no problem just turning on the microphone. Now, the camera, on another side of things, for me is an element that is constantly a battle that I'm trying to figure out, right? And so even recording this podcast episode, I'd much rather just record into a microphone, but I do have a camera set up because I'm trying to, obviously an audio only, it's a perfect example, audio only on YouTube doesn't really work, right? Fair enough. But a video works, and even more specifically, I'm seeing and testing, which is another aspect of this whole thing. And so what I'm trying to see is, does a video podcast work on YouTube? And if it does, it's as simple as setting up the camera that I already have, the microphone that I already have, running it through all the equipment that I already have, just setting it up, making it look nice, setting up a light, and rolling with it. And the numbers may be small, but again, I'm just trying to juice the lemon. So the same thing is true with you. Maybe before and after pictures will work. Maybe they won't. Maybe customers like to see the, you foaming a mat and scrubbing it or whatever, and you won't know what's going to work for your audience until you try multiple things. For me, cheap versus expensive worked for a long time. And now I'm even looking at switching that content up a little bit, adding stuff like this in, not only to grow my audience and reach new people, but just to switch it up and keep it fresh for me as well. Obviously, I can't pick my nose like I normally do on a podcast. And sometimes I start getting bored with myself, and, I play with my hat, I play with my hair, I itch myself, my foot's up on the chair. I'm twiggling a pen right now. I'm doing all these things, which is why I don't like video, but, it is what it is. See what you like. I actually enjoy what comes in from the video. So for me, YouTube is definitely something that like has the most impact on anything I do. And so, yeah, that I'm taking it more serious, bringing my video guys back. We're going to be doing some cool stuff in the future, but switching up the content, which is something that as you evolve down that content road, you'll constantly have to evolve. The challenge of managing the social media presence can also come into becoming a problem. But again, if we think back to what we talked about earlier of just looking at it like this is the most cost-effective marketing strategy on the face of the earth, then those challenges of managing the social media presence, kind of dwindle. Obviously, there is a time commitment to it. It can be time consuming. There's negative reviews and handling criticism online, which not everyone is good at. If you don't want to have as much criticism, I would say stay away from being controversial, and you'll get less criticism. But nonetheless, it is the internet. Algorithms constantly change. This happens to me as well. It's like, during COVID, my content was doing really, really good. I was starting to get burnout. I had a private label business that was like doing phenomenal. Still is doing good, but it was doing phenomenal. And so I was having to allocate a lot of time to that, and I allocate less time towards content creation. And so, and then I did something stupid, like change my name on YouTube. And then my views went down. People started saying, hey, I can't find your content. I don't see you post anymore. What's going on? Are you okay? Are you around? And as of recently, as of like a couple days ago, honestly, which has been 3 years, people are like, hey, you're back. Like, welcome back. I'm so happy you're back. Like, I've missed your content. I'm like, what? I've been here. But algorithms change. Consumers' preferences change. What they're interested in then, they might not be interested in now. If you gamify stuff, it actually makes it a little bit more exciting. So it is a time commitment. But if you do stuff like join the Discord and then you're getting prompts and you're seeing what other people are doing, it could really help you to lessen that time commitment. Also in the Detailer Inner Circle, which is the full-blown CRM that I offer to run a detailing business. The Detailing Discord is more so like behind the scenes stuff. We do free giveaways. We do content, content posts and ideas and stuff like that, marketing ideas that I think of that I don't share here on the podcast or on my YouTube. And then the Detailer Inner Circle, detailerinnercircle.com, is my full-blown CRM. So inside the Detailer Inner Circle, if you're running your own business, what you could do is you also get access to the Detailing Discord for free if you're in the Detailer Inner Circle. But what you could do is you could take those post ideas that I posted about in the Detailing Discord, and then we have a content scheduler and calendar, and you could promote it out to all your social profiles within that content calendar, and then you could schedule it. So it's going to really cut down on that time commitment. And then another suggestion that I have on saving time is just recording what's already in front of you. So you're already detailing the car, just documenting the detail with your phone is ample enough. I'm already recording this podcast. Adding a camera does not add any additional time because I already have it set up where I want to set up and I have everything good. I just flick on the lights and hit record. So look for those areas that you can increase that potential output without outputting more yourself. One thing that I've kind of struggled with as my content career has gone on and on and on, staying consistent gets incredibly hard. Like staying consistent over years and years and years and years is really, really hard to do. But in the stack of books that I have over to my left, and if you're watching the video of this, these are all the books I'm currently doing. One common theme that people talk about with success is being consistent and just constantly being there. And so you can use tools like ChatGPT to come up with ideas for you. And so, there's a lot of AI tools coming out. You can lean on other people. You could join the Detailing Discord, all those different things to help you create content. And I think the most important thing is just being consistent with that. So all this to say, I think you need a social media following. So if you don't have an Instagram, you don't have a TikTok, you don't have a Threads, you don't have a Facebook page, do that today. Have that be your action goal, that you're going to set it up and see how it goes. Chances are you probably have a ton of content already. You probably have a ton of pictures. You probably have a ton of stuff that you can actually utilize as content. And then if you need post ideas or hashtag ideas, join the Detailing Discord. autodetailingpodcast.com/Discord. Look at the free PDFs that are in the Discord, which give you content ideas, right? Whether it's the 52 individual post or it's the 52 week idea, So we're in October, the first or second week of October as the time of this recording. So what I would do is I would go to that content idea list. I would go to October, look at what we have coming up, the ideas for the rest of the week or the rest of the month. We have different like communities, they call them circles. And so monthly content ideas separated by weeks. So here we go. So monthly content ideas separated by weeks. So January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. And then each month of the year is broken down into 4 weeks. Look up that content creation idea calendar, see what content I already had recorded and start planning accordingly. I would definitely encourage you guys to optimize your social media, be a little bit more active on it, invest some time with it, schedule post out if you need to. And then, yeah, let me know your own experiences with social media and detailing. Has it been awesome for you? Have you got a bunch of customers in? Have you not? If you're watching this video on YouTube, you can comment below. So what has social media done for you? What has social media done for you, your business, your detailing business? Has it booked you out like crazy? Has it helped do SEO? All that kind of stuff. So once again, thanks for listening to me ramble sometimes. Thanks for watching if you're watching this in video format. I will catch you guys on the next video or podcast.